Patel's document destruction scandal. When Ted Lieu placed the blue folder on the table, all 247 people in the Senate Intelligence Committee chamber simultaneously focused on the files. The stamp on the folder, Top Secret Matter for Congressional Eyes Only, gleamed like a star. In red ink, the kind of red that's only used in government buildings when something truly important is at stake. Kash Patel sat in the witness chair, legs crossed, relaxed. The hearing that began at 9:30 a.m. was now entering its third hour. He had skillfully evaded all questions for the first 3 hours. Republican senators couldn't stop praising him. They called him the most transparent director in FBI history. They said he represented a new era in the fight against terrorism. They reviewed statistics and spoke of success stories. Democrats had also asked routine questions: budget allocations, personnel changes, operational priorities. Patel deflected each one with bureaucratic language, plain numbers, and the phrase "I cannot provide details due to national security." His attorneys looked at each other with pride. Everything was going according to plan until Congressman Ted Lieu took the floor. At 12:34 p.m. Lieu was a Democratic congressman from California's 36th district. But what you needed to know about him was his background, and this was going to cause them trouble. Air Force JAG officer, military prosecutor. He had served in dozens of military courts. He had gained experience in hundreds of cases under the UCMJ Uniform Code of Military Justice. And there's one thing you learn in military courts. You already know the answer to every question you ask. You never bluff. You never come unprepared. And you never, ever lose. When Ted Lieu walked to the podium with that blue folder, experienced Washington observers paid attention, because Lieu's files brought to hearings had one characteristic: they always contained something career-ending. Patel saw that blue folder. His eyes slid there for a second, then quickly returned to Lieu's face. But it was too late. The CNN reporter sitting in the middle of the room caught that look, already photographed it. That photo would air on the evening news with the headline, "The Panic Moment." "Director Patel," Lieu began in a calm, measured, almost friendly voice. That voice belonged to someone who had already won, the voice of someone who didn't need to rush. "I'd like to ask you a few questions about the FBI's document preservation protocols." Patel nodded with a slight smile. This seemed like an easy topic. "Of course, Congressman. The FBI has the strictest, most secure, most audited document preservation systems in the federal government. Our systems are multi-layered." "Excellent," Lieu gently interrupted. "Then this will certainly be familiar to you." He opened the blue folder, but he didn't open it quickly. He opened it slowly, with theatrical slowness, every centimeter deliberate. He pulled out the first document and held it up, at exactly the angle where C-SPAN cameras could see it. "This," said Lieu, "is an urgent memorandum dated January 15, 2025, from the FBI Document Management Department. From Chief Document Officer Margaret Chen to FBI Director Kash Patel." Subject line. He paused. Good prosecutors always pause. "To maximize impact. Unauthorized document destruction. Urgent director. Intervention required. Potential federal crime." The energy in the room instantly changed. Journalists jumped on their keyboards. Cameras zoomed. Senators leaned forward. The first crack appeared on Patel's face. His left eye twitched slightly. His lips became a thin line. His right hand went to the table, flat, motionless. "Congressman," his voice was still controlled, but now an octave lower, "I see hundreds, thousands of documents daily. I cannot possibly remember a specific memorandum. I understand." Lieu smiled, in that dangerous way. "Never a good sign. Then allow me to refresh your memory." He began reading the document. His voice filled the room. Clear, sharp, every word hammered in like a nail. Quote, "The Director Patel, I urgently report that during a routine security audit conducted on Tuesday, January 14, 2025, in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation file repository, critical documents were discovered missing. These documents contained first-degree evidentiary materials classified as File Category EP 2019 Core. Specifically, 34 notarized witness statements, 156 international financial transaction records, 423 private jet flight log documents, 89 hotel reservation and security records, and 234 photographic and video evidence materials. Lieu raised his head and looked at Patel, a total of 936 document pieces, all missing. Then he continued reading. According to the FBI record system, these documents were last seen on Wednesday, January 8, 2025, at 4:47 p.m. and processed under routine filing procedures. However, during a check conducted on Thursday morning, January 9, 2025, at 7:15 a.m., it was determined that the documents had completely disappeared. Our digital record systems show the following. At 3 hours 15 minutes and 47 seconds a.m. on January 9, 2025, using Document Destruction Protocol Level 4, this file category was permanently deleted from the system, and physical documents were destroyed by industrial paper shredder. The room had become completely silent. Even the hum of the air conditioning could be heard. Level 4 Destruction Protocol is the FBI's highest security level destruction procedure. This protocol can only be used under the following conditions: national security threat, court order, or emergency situations personally approved by the FBI director. Digital authorization records show that this destruction operation was initiated from FBI Director Office Terminal 7, with user ID Patel K-R001 at 3 hours 15 minutes and 23 seconds a.m. on January 9, 2025. Lieu slowly placed the document on the table. His eyes never left Patel. Director Patel, the legal justification for this destruction is not recorded in the system. There is no court order. No national security justification has been specified, and these documents were critical evidence in an active federal investigation. This action may constitute a potential crime under 18 U.S.C. Section 1519, Federal Evidence Destruction. I request urgent explanation. Margaret Chen, Chief Document Officer, end quote. Silence. Heavy, thick, suffocating silence. Director Patel. Lieu's voice was no longer soft. Why did you permanently destroy 936 documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation at 3:15 a.m. on the morning of January 9, 2025 in the middle of the night? Patel's right hand went to his water glass. There was a slight tremor when his fingers gripped the glass. He didn't drink any water, just held it. Congressman, his voice now came out more strained. I don't personally micromanage routine document destruction operations. Thousands of documents are processed daily at the FBI. Our automated archiving systems, Lieu pulled out a second document, this time from an orange-colored folder. This is the FBI Headquarters Security Access Log. J. Edgar Hoover Building, 935 Pennsylvania Avenue. Date: January 8, 2025. He read January 8, 2025, 11 hours, 47 minutes, and 33 seconds p.m. Director Patel, Main Entrance Turnstile. Entry approved. January 8, 2025, 11 hours, 52 minutes and 18 seconds p.m. Director Patel, 7th floor Director's Suite. Access approved. January 9, 2025, 12 hours 15 minutes and 4 seconds. Director Patel, Main Entrance Exit. Exit approved. Lieu raised his head. You were the only senior official in the building that night. Security records show no one else was on the 7th floor. You went down to the document repository at 12:15. The document destruction occurred at 3:15. You were in the document repository for exactly 3 hours. And you left the building at 4:33. Director Patel, you were there, in the middle of the night, completely alone. In the FBI document repository, and 936 critical documents were destroyed. Are you still saying this was automated? Patel's face turned bright red. Beads of sweat began to appear on his forehead. Congressman, this is a completely legal procedure. As FBI director, I have the authority to make document management decisions. What legal procedure? Lieu's voice was like sharp steel. Let me read you a third document. He pulled out another paper from a green folder. This is an email from FBI Inspector General Daniel Hayes. Date January 10, 2025, 8:47 a.m. To Director Kash Patel. Subject document destruction knows urgent legal explanation request. Quote, Director Patel, I urgently request a meeting regarding the document destruction operation that occurred on the night of January 9th. This operation violates multiple FBI protocols. 1. The destroyed documents were part of an active federal investigation, according to FBI Manual Section 5. 8.2, active investigation documents can only be destroyed after the investigation is closed and all legal processes are completed. No written justification for the destruction has been filed. Written justification is mandatory for all Level 4 destruction operations. 3. The destruction operation was not reported to the Office of the Inspector General. Federal law requires that destruction of investigation documents be reported to the IG office 48 hours in advance. 4. Among the destroyed documents were evidence obtained by court order. Destruction of this evidence may potentially violate court orders. Lieu stopped, looked at Patel. Director Patel, these actions may constitute federal crimes under 18 U.S.C. Section 1519, evidence destruction, 18 U.S.C. Section 1505, obstruction of congressional investigation, and possibly 18 U.S.C. Section 371, conspiracy. I request written explanation within 48 hours. Otherwise, I will be obligated to formally report this matter to the Department of Justice. Daniel Hayes, FBI Inspector General. End quote. Lieu leaned forward. The FBI's own Inspector General wrote to you that this action could be a federal crime on January 10th. Today is January 23rd. 13 days have passed. You still haven't responded. Why, Director Patel? Patel's voice began to tremble. I vehemently reject these allegations. Inspector General Hayes's views, his interpretation, completely wrong characterization. Wrong characterization? Lieu pulled out a fourth document, this time from a red folder, the thickest one. Is this also wrong characterization? He held up the document, FBI letterhead. But this time there was a different stamp, loaned to Congressional Committee, copy from original file. This, Director Patel, is a copy of just one of the documents you destroyed. Wondering how I have it? Lieu smiled, a cold, calculated smile. Because there are people at the FBI who aren't as foolish as you, a smart FBI analyst. I won't name them because you'd probably fire them. Backed up digital copies of all Epstein files to an external server, legally, under whistleblower protection laws, and last week turned over all files to the Congressional Oversight Committee. Patel's face went white, completely, as if all the blood drained at once. So, Director, you thought you destroyed 936 documents. But we have all of them. Every page, every photograph, every name. Lieu opened the document in his hand. This is a witness statement. Date June 17, 2019. Witness name confidential. Statement taken by FBI agent Sarah Rodriguez. He began reading, I made a total of 12 trips on Jeffrey Epstein's Gulfstream G550 private jet between 2017 to 2019. During these trips, I witnessed multiple underage girls being transported. Additionally, multiple high-profile passengers were on these flights. I personally saw and recognized the following individuals on the plane. Lieu stopped, looked at the room. There are 34 names on this list. 34 names. 17 of these names are still in active public positions. 8 are in government positions. 3 are serving in the current administration. And you, Director Patel, destroyed this document. Silence. Why? More silence. Were documents destroyed to protect powerful people, Director Patel? Patel jumped to his feet. His chair scraped loudly backward. This is unacceptable. Completely baseless accusations. With conspiracy theories, sit down. The committee chairman hit the gavel so hard the wood cracked. Patel sat, but his hands were now shaking uncontrollably. Lieu pulled out his final document from a black folder. The paper inside wasn't white. It was yellow, aged, written in handwriting. "This," Lieu said slowly, "was found in the FBI document repository, behind File Box EP 2019 Core 34. On January 15th, an FBI custodian noticed it, photographed it, and called the whistleblower hotline. He showed the document. Everyone could see it. Handwriting, written hastily, scribbled. 3 different forensic document analysts confirmed this note is in your handwriting." He read, "Epstein files clean all mill. Bupri directive. Priority 12 names attached. Urgent. Leave no traceable trail. White House. The White House." Lieu raised his head. His eyes locked on Patel's eyes. "Director Patel, did the White House ask you to destroy Jeffrey Epstein investigation documents?" Complete silence. You could hear a pin drop. "Can you deny that this note is in your handwriting?" Patel's mouth was open. No sound came out. "I understand you cannot answer," Lieu said, "because the answer would not only end your career but would place you in the middle of a federal criminal case." He stood up. "The truth is, you abused the authority given to you as FBI director. You sabotaged a federal investigation. You destroyed evidence, and you probably committed a crime. I formally request that all of these documents and evidence be immediately forwarded to the Department of Justice Criminal Division and the Congressional Impeachment Committee." The room exploded. 247 people stood up simultaneously. 12 seconds. Reading a handwritten note, it took 12 seconds, and ended a career.